Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Adventures. Last time I began our little adventure here, well, adventure would be underselling it really because we got accused of murder, and now we gotta cross-examine the witnesses here that supposedly say they saw the exact moment that we shot the victim. Let's see, so now we're cross-examining them now. So we gotta find a hole in their statement that proves that they were lying. So let's see. So he was eating beef. So we already saw, or we already like read everything that they had to say last time. We just have to figure out what it is. So you could either press or present. I kind of want to press to get more information here.
Yes.
So why does he say yes? I don't understand that. Why aren't you saying anything? Is this some sort of new interrogation technique? I hadn't actually thought of what I wanted to ask. Just ask about anything that catches your attention. Anything that bothers you. Alright then, don't raise your hand, dude. This beefsteak you mentioned, what kind of food is that? Jadron! Beefsteak is a delicious cut of veal, vigorously cooked on a cast iron grill and served piping hot. Oh. If food could receive medals of honor, the beefsteak would be almost as highly decorated as a cutlet. Right, I see. Thank you, sir. There's also that noise again. So next question. This cutlet you mentioned, what kind of food is that? Jadron! Cutlet is a delicious cut of veal tossed in breadcrumbs and deep fried in cooking oil. Accept your guilty verdict, atone for your crimes, and when you're released from prison, try it! Yes, sir, I will, sir. On the double, sir. Sorry to interrupt, but how about trying to stick to questions that are relevant to the case? Oops, sorry. I'll do my best. So, next question. Is it just me, or do you keep hearing a sort of wah crying noise? Negative! Well, at least we've learned that he's a big beef lover. Affirmative. It's not easy knowing what questions to ask. Well, I got an achievement for pressing a witness. Cool. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman. Okay, so he was basically just saying I was showing off a thing to him. I have no idea what you're talking about. A koban, boy. A koban? You mean old Edo coin? The day prior to the incident, a treasure of exceptional value from the Hoi period entered my possession. I took myself to the restaurant the following day, with said items secreted in my bosom pocket, in the hope of an affluent cognizant appraised of its indisputable value being present. So you're hoping to sell your koban coin to Sergeant Nosa, whom you met at the restaurant. Yes, it's quite clear where you're going with this, boy. You were about to assert that a penniless soldier would have no hope of purchasing a precious koban. Isn't that so? Well... You little upstart cadet! You want to add disrespecting a superior officer to your list of crimes, do you? Blatant subordination! No, I didn't say anything. Although penniless might just be the word I was looking for. In any case, the hour was already advanced beyond that of midday luncheon. There remained precious few present with whom I could engage in discourse about matters of business. The gentleman assigned me, who was grappling with his braised veal at the time, was my sole prospect. Dude, like, this guy's just a walking thesaurus. I see. Yeah, let's press this too.
Yes.
So, you're saying that you actually saw me at that time? Affirmative, I saw you! Laughing, cackling like a madman as you trained the barrel of your gun on the English civilian. But that's impossible! I only... Allow me to confirm just one point, please. What's that, Private? Thinking carefully about the statement you just made, it seems to me That must have been just after you heard the gunshot that you looked over to the victim's table. And so what if it was? Well, if that really is the case, it would mean that you didn't, in fact, see the precise moment when the killer actually fired the gun. Ugh! It double! Ugh! My sixth sense. Sorry? My sixth sense of danger. I picked up the waves of murderous energy radiating from your foul mind. Which means, a split second before you pulled the trigger, I was looking right at you, cadet. Surely that's not really possible, is it? Do you think I've gotten to where I am today in the army if I could sense danger in the air, son? Well, it would seem that this soldier is absolutely convinced that he saw you do the deed. This is not good.
Yes.
From the back. Oh, there's the okay, I see the contradiction now. So this black uniformed university cadet, you're saying that was... Ugh! I've had just about enough of your sauce, cadet. Who else do you see around here in a black uniform, How about the person right next to me? Well, so what's standing right next to me? Fits the description as well, but... It was you, you little weasel! You unloaded the firearm on that man! From behind his back! And you call yourself a citizen of the great empire of Nippon. You disgust me! What is it, Ryunosuke? I'm not quite sure. It's something that Sergeant just said, but I can't put my finger on it. Something's playing on my mind. In that case, check back over the details of the evidence you gathered in the court record. And if you find an inconsistency there with what the witness just said, then don't hold back. Present the evidence to the court! Thrust it in the witness's face and make him choke on it. Yeah, I don't need to look at that. This last one, we know what it is. Yeah, so, he fired on the Englishman civilian and from the back. So this is a lie. Because it says right here that he was shot in the chest. Take that! Shit, why do you raise your hand, dude? What are you playing at, cadet? What is the meaning of this subordination? Thrusting this wad of papers in my mustache. An inconsistency, sir. I mean, yes. There's a clear inconsistency here. Tisk tisk, what nonsense. What can this document possibly tell us we don't already know? Well, obviously, that, I know what I want to say, but the words just won't come out of my mouth. Come on, man, dude, it's so easy. I think this proves beyond any doubt, Your Excellency, that there's no place for an amateur student here in this grand courtroom. Ugh. This is so frustrating. Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It could be more plain. To spell it out would be an insult to the court. Kazuma, what? What are you talking about? It's apparent from a single glance at the post-mortem report presented by the defense that there's a clear discrepancy here with the sergeant's statement. What? Sergeant Iasanosa. Yes, sir. What, sir? The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the Englishman civilian, and from the back, cowardly little weasel. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. I witnessed the crime with my own military-grade eyes, sir.
Yes.
Well, that's the problem. But no, that just can't be. And why not, cadet? Because... Oh my gosh, dude, just say it. As is clearly stated in the post-mortem report, fatal hemorrhagic or fatal hemorrhage from pectoral ballistic trauma, no exit wound. A bullet did not pass through the body. The photographic print of the victim clearly shows the same thing. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it? Oh, there's a baby! What the? What was that? Something just popped up from behind his back, but he pushed it down again. He's carrying a baby in court. Certainly, there's clear discrepancy with the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Nosa? Yes, sir. At this juncture, that would appear to be indisputable. Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were firmly fixed on a delicious La Carnival steak, sir. What? The last testimony the court heard has proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness, Sergeant Iasanosa, did not see the defendant firing a gun at all. That's absurd. I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There is no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom. You know, yeah! I got another achievement for presenting evidence. All right. There's been a complete turnabout in the mood of this trial, just from that one discrepancy. I know Cosmo stole my thunder. I totally had that. So this is what being an ace attorney is all about. Oh, he did it. He said the thing. But I definitely saw him. That university cadet there. He was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back.
Yes.
But I never fired the gun. All I did was pick it up off the floor. And you, old man. You didn't see the moment the victim was shot either? Myself, I've already been quite clear. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure. Treasure? Indeed! The Hoi Era Koban, my prized coin. On each occasion when I visit that restaurant, it is my habitude to place in my bosom pockets a particular trinket of interest from my shop, Rasute, in the hope of meeting a rich diner who might like to buy it from you. On the day under scrutiny, it was to the military man that I proffered my Hoi treasure. Believed that he would purchase such a rare find, I did not, but I was presented with a little alternative. And then, after averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was there no more. It simply vanished. The Kaban vanished. Hunting around under the table, I was, in case mayhap it had fallen there. And then it happened. Bang! You heard the gunshot, you mean? Indeed I did. But I heeded it not, for I was concerned only with finding my absconded Hoi treasure. Nothing could distract me. Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end? Probably no, if I had to take a guess. No. I see. That lamentable day, the precious Hoi Kaban was lost to me. No doubt some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself. As I'm sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive resolution. Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon. Nevertheless, the witness testimony the court has just heard was inconclusive. No matter how subservient our government feels it must be to the British, it would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. What is your position, Prosecutor Ouchie? Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate, but he will fight a wolf at the back. My witnesses have further testimony to make. Explain. Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there is only one person who could possibly have committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. What? Or what? He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he? Ugh. Very well, the court invites the witnesses to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegation. Is that clear? As clear as Kuriko glass, Your Excellency. Yes, sir. At what, sir? Awaiting signal to testify, sir. Why do you have a baby with you? Excuse me, but there's something, or someone, peeking out over your shoulder, I think. Oh, affirmative. The newest member of the Noso family to rise up through the ranks, sir. Name Ido. Ido. Wait, so is the name I don't know, sir? I don't know, sir? It would seem that those straps are a sign of the sergeant being too strapped to afford a nanny. Ido Tenshun! Your father is about to quell the enemy. Watch and learn, my boy. Alright, let's see what they got to say here. See, it's so weird. It's so weird that there's two people testifying here at the same time. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man he was, that young lad in black. That much I myself did see. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself. Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out. But okay, but we know that there was another woman. Oh, I didn't see what the judge said. Wait, that's nonsense. The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all. Please, enough of these outbursts already. But there was a woman. There was a young woman at his table. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her. If you call yourself a lawyer, then you'll respect the rules of court and speak accordingly. We're not here to listen to your fantasies. Ugh. It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time. I keep speaking in the wrong voices. It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact. What? Is this a photographic print of the seat of the crowd, counsel? There's like no one in this photograph, what? Oh, but he's gonna say there's only one meal, though. Indeed, of the table at which the victim was dining, taken by an investigator immediately after the incident. As plainly be seen, there's only one place set. So it was definitely the waiter then, because the waiter came and took the other plate then. Certainly, based on the appearance of this print, it would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in the company of anyone else. Erg. This doesn't make any sense. The court will add this new photographic evidence to the record. A bottle of carbonated water and a steak lunch can be seen on the victim's table. I don't understand. Man, I want to look at that again real quick. Oh, look at this. I get a magnifying glass and used to like look at the photographs more clearly. This is not something that was in the other games. But I don't think we're gonna see anything here. What's going on here? It's just not possible that nobody else saw that woman. How come you didn't learn her name if she was sitting at the table with him? That's a bit strange. The waiter before said the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well. But that's not true. I saw her. I swear that I saw a woman with him. That's what I'm telling you, man. The waiter came and took the other plates. It would seem that we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. The witness testimonies we just heard leave no further room for doubt. These are very sensitive political times, as we all know. The ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. To think that Takeuchi Ouchi, will have contributed to the amity of these two great empires is an honor. How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule. Stand tall, Ryunosuke. It's not over yet. What? If what you say is true, then there's something going on here behind the scenes. And now's your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth. In your cross-examination. I don't know, Kazuma. The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witnesses, but make it quick, understood? This rules can be so unbending at times. Ugh. Alright. I'm guessing I'm gonna have to probably press here. Let me look at the court record again real quick. This doesn't tell me anything. Victim, male, British, time of death. Single bullet fired at close range. Fatal hemorrhage from pectoral ballistic trauma. No exit. Yep. Nothing really there. Photograph of the victim. Let's examine that. Yeah, it looks like the table is the same here as it was in the other photograph. There's nothing going to be here, I'm pretty sure. Okay, I really want to examine the other side of this. Oh, hang on. Oh, thank you for translating, game. Okay. Entrance, kitchen. You can, like, barely see the characters on, like, the other side. I really, really want to see the other side of this card. Because the waiter acted, like, super suspicious after that. Alright, yeah, let's get out of this. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to press here.
Yes.
No, no, no! It's not the same thing at all. For a start, I didn't fire that gun. We have a difference of opinion on that. The opinion of a uniformed officer versus that of a fledgling cadet. I don't think so. Consider this, defendant. Just a moment ago, I blinked. Did you? Did you see it? Did you see me blink? How could I? And yet, it is an undeniable fact that I did blink. So there you have it. Have what? Jetron! The sound of the firearm rang in my ears, and the very next moment, I saw you waving that gun at the Englishman. I think that says it all, don't you? Grr. And let us not forget that antique stealer witnessed the accused in this most incriminating position as well. Isn't that so? Correct, John. Correct. Correct. These names are gonna trip me up so much. He didn't say anything. Oh, yeah, it's like a lead into the next statement I see. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreman. He was, yeah, young lad in black. That much I myself did see. I don't think I see anything wrong with that, but let's press it. Yes, it may be true that I was holding the gun at that point in time. But I've told you already, that's only because I picked it up off the floor. Well, obviously, as a culprit, that's the only way you could explain it away. I had just finished drinking my coffee and I was about to leave the restaurant when I noticed a gun on the floor at Dr. Wilson's feet, so I picked it up. And at exactly that moment, bang! A gunshot rang in my ears. Oomph. Full of events beyond our control, life is. Sorry? What did you mean? In your case, you found a pistol on the floor and picked it up, which precipitated this testing predicament. Dude, you just pulled out a knife! Whereas conversely, I failed to pick up the Kaban from the floor and find myself in an equally testing predicament as a result. You're not on trial for murder, my dude. Anyway, the fact remains, myself, I did see you. With pistol in hand, standing over the foreigner. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Let's press that. You must have noticed someone else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there.
Objection!
As you have been at pains to point out time and time again, I feel I'm growing a callus in my ear. And yet, no one else appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman. If only there'd been more people dining there at the time, then someone else would have noticed her. Unfortunately, it was already past 2 p.m. when it happened. The quiet time between lunch and dinner in any restaurant. I know, of course, the place was almost empty. It's what you'd expect. Certainly, 2 p.m. is neither here nor there in terms of a time to eat. I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at the time of day, and why he was alone. Yes, Your Excellency, there was indeed a reason. Oh, we're bringing out more information right here. There was found in the victim's jacket pocket. What is that, Counsel? It is a medical report card, Your Excellency. It would seem that the victim had an appointment at a clinic prior to visiting the restaurant. Hata Clinic? Yes, there would indeed appear to be an entry for the date in question. Oh, I think that must be a reference to Hottie Clinic from the Ace Attorney, or the Phoenix Wright series. So instead of Hottie Clinic, it's the Hata Clinic. 19th November, noon to past 1 p.m. The very day of the incident. So the victim went for a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it really had no bearing on the case. I wonder, what do you think, Ryunosuke? Well, it's hard to see how it could be related, really. Remember, you can request for it to be entered into the court record as evidence if you think it could be useful. Well, obviously, why not? Yeah, let's definitely get that submitted.
Yes!
There's probably more details on this that he didn't talk about. I need to look at it. If I may, I'd like to ask for that medical report card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency. On what grounds? The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous. Not to mention that the victim's movements prior to his arrival at the restaurant are of no concern.
Objection!
Whether or not they are concerned is up to us to decide. We have a right to explore all possible avenues. I beg your pardon? You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for submission of evidence. Very well, the court will grant the defense's request. Tisk. Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights. It's a most disturbing trend. Officer, kindly add the victim's medical report card to the court record. Alright, we gotta look at this. Because there's clearly gotta be some info he left out. What we need right now is new clues. Hang on, let me look at this. Can I not look at it? It's not letting me examine it. Okay. What we need right now is new clues. We have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first. Right, I hear you. You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you like. But it's the day after the festival already for you. Or perhaps you'd forgotten that these witness testimonies leave no room for doubt? Feel free to reiterate for the accused. Correct, Duad-san. Can I please look at the stupid thing? Hang on. I want to examine it. Okay. Okay, let's press this too, I suppose. So you actually saw that with your own eyes, did you? The victim, Dr. Wilson, dining alone? That I did. Forgive me for the position I placed you in. Yeah, the old man is chill, the sergeant is not. So the testimonies of the old man, the soldier, and the waiter all agree on that point. Isn't that interesting? And let us not forget the incontestable evidence we have to support their statements as well. As clearly can be seen,
There's only a single beefsteak on the victim's table. A meal for one.
No. The antique dealer, the sergeant, and the waiter who testified before. It's not impossible that they're all lying. But if so, then why? If I'm perfectly honest, I have absolutely no idea. Alright, last statement. Let's press this. Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman over and out.
Yes.
Why aren't you telling the truth? What? What did you say, cadet? I clearly remember. Yeah, this isn't getting us anywhere. There was a woman sitting across the table from the professor. Perhaps one of you might not have noticed. But for both of you to have failed to see the professor's dining companion, it's just not possible. Unfortunately for defendant Naruhodo, it's just not a case of these two witnesses alone. Sorry, man, we got the picture and the waiter. The waiter whose testimony the court heard earlier clearly stated the same thing. He also said that the victim was alone. That's right.
Precisely. In other words, you are the sole proponent of this phantom lady.
But I...
If such a woman were indeed present at the scene, the prosecution demands to see proof. And if no such proof exists, the prosecution demands that no further mention of this phantom woman be made. It is a blatant waste of the court's time.
There's nothing I can say to that. Excellent work, Ryunosuke. We've gleaned some new information now. Well, yes, but I don't feel like it changes much. I can't see that it brings any real discrepancies to light. I wouldn't be so sure. Let me see that medical report card you got before. What? So now I get to look at it? Oh, you mean this? Yes, this is a brand new piece of evidence. So perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. That's what I was trying to before, man. How exactly? Read it! Read it with your eyeballs! You'll notice that some pieces of evidence bear a magnifying glass. These are the only ones you may examine. Press space and you can take a closer look at the piece in question. Use the up, down, or up, left, down, right to rotate it. Okay. To rotate the evidence in all directions and examine it from all angles. By using WASD. You can move the crosshairs around to hunt for clues that may have been missed before. I don't like how you described it as crosshairs instead of a cursor. If the crosshair starts to pulsate, press space to investigate further. So, partner, I think you should take a closer look at this medical report card. See if there isn't something new to be alerted by examining it in more detail. Alright, I'll see what I can do. I need to... yeah, we just saw this. Skip! Can I get a translation, please? Of what this says? Oh, it does say that. Medical report card required for every visit. A name, Mr. John Wilson, Hot Clinic. What's on the other side? Dentist. Hot Clinic date record. Okay. But what is this? There's like a tab. Okay, it opens up. Can I read this bit? Let's have a look. This is some kind of medical history. Ah, and there's an entry for the day the professor was killed. Extraction of molar with topical anesthesia. Extraction of molar? You mean he had a tooth taken out? It would seem so. Just before the incident, he'd had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they use laughing gas. That's the most modern practice in the West for pain relief. Yes, I've heard of this anesthesia. Although it's hard to believe there's anything that can actually stop you feeling pain. Ah, there's a cautionary note from the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours. We got him, boys! We got him! No food or drink besides water for 3 hours post-procedure until the anesthetic effects have passed. Really? Sounds like information worth bearing in mind. So the food that was on the table was of the other person. With this new information, the meaning of that one particular statement totally changes. So I think it's time we listen to the testimony again, don't you? Definitely. Okay. Let's get to that statement. Maybe I think it's this one right here. Indeed alone he was, the Englishman dining all by himself. Let's present this one. Bang! Oh, I didn't want to do that. Present!
Yes.
Stop raising your hand, dude! Well, I think, But what are you wittering, lads? Call yourself a lawyer? I wish I could. But first and foremost here, I'm the accused. Ryunosuke. Everyone stumbles on their words occasionally. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it. Thanks, Kazuma. But this is like the second time we're doing it, dude. This is ridiculous. I can see it quite clearly in that cross-examination you just carried out. When you raised your hand straight up like that, so purposefully, you knew exactly what it was you wanted to say. Don't you feel like you have to choose your words carefully? Just say what you're thinking. Or don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully. Alright, and thanks for the advice. Correctuasan. This is a medical report card belonging to the victim. Ah, I see. And I don't see. What of it, boy? Compare what is written on this report card with your witness statement. Something clearly doesn't add up. Dear me, have you forgotten my... I keep doing the wrong voice. Dear me, have you forgotten my words so soon, you amateur? Sorry, what? You are not to interrupt court proceedings with your amateurish... I keep doing it again. You are not to interrupt court proceedings with your amateurish drivel. But... let's see if I can explain in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon when the victim was murdered at the restaurant. Whatever he may or may not have done before that time is completely irrelevant. Grr, but that's, Remember, Ryunosuke, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words. Just make your point. Your Excellency, I believe we are finished here. There's surely no need to prolong this trial further. The witness testimonies, the court has heard... the witness testimonies the court has heard have been clear and concise. This medical report card has no bearing on the matter at all, for the simple reason that there's no one else besides this pale-faced pupil who could possibly have... interruption. This medical report card has nothing to do with the case. Do you really believe that? What? The outbursts have petrified me, boy. Of course I believe it. How could it possibly be relevant? Perhaps because Hara Clinic, which issued the report card, is a dental clinic. A dental clinic? Is that supposed to mean something to me? Perhaps if I told you that the victim had just had a tooth extracted? What's this now? And furthermore, if I told you that, as a result, the victim had been forbidden from eating. Just what are you trying to say, cadet? He had orders not to eat, so what? It's all written up in here. But yeah, but the argument, right, is that he's just gonna, they're just gonna say that he just ate anyway, right? It's all written up in here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours post-procedure while anesthesia wears off. What? No, that can't. Correctuasan. What, boy? What? As you just heard, when he was killed sometime shortly after 2 p.m., the victim shouldn't have been eating anything at all. No. Additionally, there's more? You have assured the court with unwavering self-confidence, like the victim was dining alone. But that cannot possibly be the case. Grr. Because the victim, as we now know, had just had one of his teeth extracted. It was still
experiencing the effects of the anesthetic. Oh! Expertly done, partner.
Objection!
What is this nonsense, you little upstart? These are baseless accusations. Just look at this photographic evidence. Oh, but that only proves my point further, doesn't it? You can clearly see the plate of food at the victim's table.
Objection!
Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about. Or can't you follow the logic? How dare you? I think it's fair to say that the tables in this restaurant case have turned. Wouldn't you agree, Ryunosuke? Yes, most definitely. So having just undergone some dental surgery, the victim was unable to eat. Which leaves one very crucial conundrum. Who, in fact, was eating the pictured beef steak? Well, I guess it must also be very difficult to eat steak if you just had a tooth extracted too. The court will hear the opinion of the defense on this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, counsel. Yeah, we're just gonna say there's another person. Counsel. Oh, that means me, doesn't it? Alright, the answer to this question is going to be pivotal. This is the start of you turning this trial around. Show them what you're made of. Got it. So, the person eating the steak at the victim's table must have been... me! Oh man, that's so funny. There's a lot of funny options here. Well, obviously it's an as yet unknown third party. Obviously, it can only have been someone else who was sitting at the professor's table.
Objection!
You will not let this go, will you? There is no such person. There was! Because I... Oh, wrong verse. There was, because I saw her. When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything. Yet we have evidence of a half-eaten steak on his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that there was somebody else there eating it. We have strong evidence to support our assertion. It's clear that these witness testimonies are unreliable. If the court decides to push through a ruling at this stage, we will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice and pursue a fair retrial, relentlessly. Kazuma, are you insane? You would take on the government? Don't worry, counsel, I have no issue with you. What do you mean? I have issue with them! Those two witnesses in the stand. What? What are you talking about? We have demonstrated with evidence that the victim was not alone. So if it now turns out that the two of you deliberately lied when giving your testimonies, obviously you will be charged with perjury. Perjury? And since this is a murder trial, you will also be deemed complicit in the killing. Complicit in a murder? No! Negative! There was no mention of this at the tactical meeting. I was just following orders. That's right, as the man says. Just say you never saw the gentlewoman. That's what they told us. Uh-oh. Someone's in trouble. Oh. What? What did you just say, Korekiwa-san? Oh, no. You were just following orders? Now, hold on, lad. I was, Say you never saw the gentlewoman. Grr. When you say gentlewoman, do you mean... you saw the victim with a lady from overseas? What?
Objection!
Things are getting spicy. What is the meaning of all this? These witnesses gave false statements. Is this true, you pair? Just one simple slip of the tongue. That was not a slip of the tongue, man. Order! Order! Council, explain what is going on here. It's painfully clear now. You try to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth. Absolutely not. The prosecution knows nothing of this. Then who's behind this? Who tried to make you keep your mouth shut? That's classified. So you're prepared to be tried as a conspirator to this murder, are you? You wouldn't. This can't be happening. Ryunosuke, judging from the way they're reacting to this, I'd say they were sworn to silence by someone with considerable influence. However, I don't believe Ouchie had any idea about it. What are you saying? I mean, to wield that kind of influence, there are only a handful of possibilities. It could have only been the government, the military, or the police, I suppose. Well, any ideas about who might be behind this? If we can affirm who tried to silence these witnesses, then we can continue our pursuits. So we need to name whoever it was that tried to make the witnesses keep their mouths shut. Of course, we'll need evidence before we make any firm accusations. Evidence that proves whether whoever it was really did wield his or her power here. But how? How can we possibly... Remember how we made progress before? We examined this piece of evidence in more detail and found a new clue as a result. Oh yes, that's right. Well, that's not the only piece of evidence we have, is it? We need to re-examine everything and make sure there's nothing we've missed. There's no time to lose. I want answers! If it's proven that these witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you the penalty will be severe. Please, wait, Your Excellency. I had no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shinto god. I knew nothing. And what does the defense have to say about all this, well, Your Excellency. No time to think. I'm just gonna have to close my eyes and shout out the first name that comes into my head. Besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary influence to manipulate the witnesses was... We are going to save this for next time, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a bit of a cliffhanger, I know, but yeah, we are running pretty long. We're running a pretty long episode here as a result. We'll just have to name someone next time. So yeah, I hope you guys have a good day. I will talk to you all later. Bye!